I know in the year 2022, going on 2023, everyone wants to get into a new D&D game or a new tabletop RPG. Maybe it's your first time playing in this hobby, or maybe you might have been in this hobby for years. But I know that many of us are excited to start a new game or find new players, and that's all good and fine. In fact, go for it. However, I do recommend that we be a little bit more selective when starting a game. So, as you can see from the title, today I'll be telling you why I think you should be more selective when starting a new D&D or tabletop RPG. Now, let me be clear, you should be excited to start a new RPG. You should be excited to go out there and play a new character, play a new system, or just have fun with your friends. In fact, that's the whole point of this hobby, is to have fun and create awesome stories, as I've always said and I will continue to always say. However, I also think it's important to take a step back and be selective, because while this is a hobby, you are putting a lot of emotional, mental, and physical labor into something you love. So for anyone new or old, I think it's really important to unpack why you should be selective. And I think the first reason why you should be selective is because you might feel forced into an RPG that you don't want to be in. And that's one thing I can say for a fact as someone who's been playing RPGs for 5+ years that you don't want to have happen. No one, and I mean this seriously, no one should ever feel forced to play a tabletop RPG they do not want to play. They should never feel like they're guilt tripped into playing the RPG either. When you start a game, new or old, you should want to be in that game. Now, not everything will be perfect in a game, because games are ran by people who are going to always be imperfect. But if you actively are avoiding the game or don't feel like playing, then that is a sign that you might want to find another game or group of people to play with. I can also understand being excited and enjoying the first game you see. As a new person, when I got into the hobby, I just wanted to play any kind of game. It didn't matter what. I just wanted to get my hand on something. However, that mentality can lead to burnout, insecurities, and also you finding yourself in games that you don't want to be in because the players and GM do not care about you, especially if they don't have a session 0 or don't listen to your concerns or issues, or if you just don't feel like your character or you as a person are being engaged. And there are several different reasons why people rush into games. Maybe it's desperation to play the game, maybe they don't understand boundaries, or they're unable to see the red flags that a GM or players are showing, or maybe the person wants to people please while downplaying their own fun, which is no good at all. Or maybe they don't know anyone who wants to play the game they want. Unfortunately, a lot of games are D&D 5e. So if you want to play a very specific game like Delta Green, then you're going to have a lot more trouble finding players online or offline. And finally, it could be manipulation from the GM and players at the table, virtual or otherwise. Whatever the case is, if you realize that this is happening to you, then it's best that you take a step back and realize there will always be more games for you. There will always be more people who want to play games with you, and there will always be people who want to run games. I know it might seem like you might never find anyone, but you don't need to worry. You will find someone. So the choice is yours. Regardless of the reason, you as the player or GM should make the choice to join the game and drop the game as you see fit, because fun is priority. When you're not having fun and instead you feel guilty for being in a game that makes you not want to play, then why are you in the game? It ruins the end goal of your character creation, role playing, tactical combat, or whatever reason you play the game. RPGs involve consent in buying into the game. Without the buy-in or active consent, then there is no point in playing the game. And without consent, this can boil into a deep hatred or dislike for tabletop RPGs as a hobby. And as someone who makes RPGs their entire personality trait, I don't want that to happen to you. So definitely be selective. In fact, was there a time where you had to be extremely selective for your next tabletop RPG? Why was that? Let me know down below in the comments section. And I mentioned this earlier, but another reason you should be selective is because of burnout, which surprisingly, if you want to learn more, which you should, there's a video about burnout over here for all of your viewing needs as your average everyday queer host, Blurty Disposition.